came today?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, today my message is one of my favorite topics and most frustrating all at the same time. I'm a Gemini, so I can do both, favorite and frustrating together, you know what I mean? You see, in the Bible, what frustrates me is it always seemed like God talked directly to people. I mean, for Pete's sake, God talked to Moses through a burning bush. Wouldn't it be great to have a burning bush outside your front door? And every day, whatever question you had, from the mundane, like, what should I wear today? You could ask the burning bush. Or, do I really have to go to that meeting today? Or what do I say if I do go to the meeting today? You could just ask the burning bush. Wouldn't that be fun? Gosh, it'd be so easy. Sometimes I look up and I forget that God is under the underlying presence of all. But I say, you know, God, this would be a really good time to speak to me in words, really be clear what I'm supposed to do today. But you know, God reminded Moses of his own divinity. I am that I am. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the very place you stand is holy ground. It's all within us. But we have signs and wonders in the outer to reflect for us and to show us the way. Noah looked out and saw a rainbow and just knew that was a promise that the floods would end. And God spoke to him through the rainbow, I am yours and you are mine. Oh, all together now. Oh, isn't that pretty? And an angel spoke to both Mary and Joseph. I know you're not married, and I know she's pregnant by God knows what, but it's okay. Trust me, trust me. But my very favorite is God spoke to King Belshazzar. He saw the handwriting on the wall. He saw the handwriting on the wall, and I'm going to paraphrase straight from Hebrew. It said, you are in deep doo-doo. That's what the handwriting on the wall said. And he was right, you know. So why doesn't God speak to us that way today? Well, God does. The divine voice speaks all the time, in whatever way we can hear it. And I don't care how old I get. I know I've said this before, but the old Ed Sullivan show, which shows how old I am, when Mel Brooks used to get up and say, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, and the audience would throw him a bunch of rubber ears. Do you remember that? I'm too old. Nobody else remembers that probably, but I can't get that out of my head. So when Jesus said Jesus knew the difference between having ears and hearing, and when he said, let those who have ears hear, let those who have eyes see, I can't get Mel Brooks out of my mind when he says that, but let those who have ears hear. You know, my grandfather had hearing aids, but he used to turn them down when grandmother would try to tell him what to do. You know, he had selective hearing. Why wouldn't you want to hear God? Why wouldn't you want to? Sometimes I think we're afraid. I always think when I finally hear that voice, it's going to say, what were you thinking? Really? What were you thinking? You know, we forget about that unconditional love and that the universe is always conspiring in our favor. So how do we hear better? Well, we have to ask and then watch, look, and listen for the signs and wonders before us. I mean, Moses in the burning bush, was that bush always there burning? Or did he finally just see it that day? Did he finally stop to smell the roses and get it that day? There's a wonderful book called Signs and Wonders by Albert Galden, and he lists all the different ways that God speaks to us if we ask for signs and then watch, look, and listen. And you might want to, after today, go home and make a list. How do I hear God? Let me count the ways, because the voice doesn't always speak in words. It speaks in signs and wonders in different ways. Let's start with our feeling nature. Do y'all remember the Wizard of Oz? Together follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, remember? Well, metaphysically, Follow your feeling nature. Your feeling nature will show you the way. Does anybody here ever get tingles, goosebumps? Does your hair stand on end when there's danger? Do you get chills when you hear the truth? That's your feeling nature saying, yes, go with this, don't go with that. When I lived in Tulsa, I was looking for a house to buy, and I must have looked at 10 houses, and none of them were right. But one day the realtor pulled up to this house, and I didn't even have to get out of the car. I didn't even have to go into the house. I said, that's my house. There was a feeling in me that said, that's it. Now, it wasn't a perfect house. It had all kinds of problems. It didn't matter. They were all taken care of. That was my house, and I felt it. Our feeling nature will speak to us if we're aware of it and listen. And then there's that synchronicity. I love the word synchronicity. Those meaningful coincidences. When the flow of the universe suddenly opens doors that had been closed before, clears the way, and provides for you in a way that there's no common sense for how that just happened. It just, you turn the corner and it all came together. So how does synchronicity work? We know it has to be scientific because science and the divine have to go together. We're all one. We're all connected with each other. We're connected with everything and everyone. So if we have an idea, a desire, and it's in harmony with our soul, with our nature, the universe, we all shift to support each other in that idea. And the universe comes together for us. Now, some signs are actual signs, and they're the most fun ones. I had a minister once that was called to 2 different churches and wasn't sure which one to take because they both looked equally wonderful. One was east and one was west. Well, she went to Arby's that night. They were having a promotion for their Western burger, and there was a big sign out front that said, "Go West." I kid you not, she took the church. It's probably a little scary why some ministers will pick a church, right? You never know. I won't even tell you why I picked this one, right? You just never know. That'll get you wondering. It's because of your love, of course. There was a book, Signs and Wonders, that told the story of a man who had a real serious disease, and he just found out about it. And he was all worried, and he shouldn't have done it, but he got in the car to drive home, and of course he was driving erratically, so a cop pulled him over. But he pulled him over right under a sign, and he looked up, and the sign said, "Miracles can happen, do not despair." And it took him into that place of knowing and the assurance that it was all going to be okay. Well, I like birds and animals when they talk. Before we moved from Tulsa to Arizona, we weren't sure if we were doing the right thing. Nobody ever is, are they? And we're bird watchers. We always have bird feeders, but we'd never had any bluebirds in the backyard. Well, that day, Michael's son, Coyote, who was living with us at the time, came running to us. "Come look in the backyard. Look, the backyard was full of bluebirds." First time we'd ever seen it, and we thought, we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing. Now, when we moved here, it was even more fun. The first night, we stayed at the Best Western, which was across from the fairgrounds, and it was 4th of July. Fireworks all night long. It was like Cookville was saying, "Welcome, welcome. You did the right thing." And we thought, yes, we did the right thing. Well, messages from the beyond are always, and I don't know how many of you have shared with me stories of dreams where loved ones have come to you in a dream. Well, this wasn't a dream, I'll tell that later, but my mother gave me this rosary when I was ordained. I guess it was her way of keeping me a little bit Catholic yet. Anyway, it's an old rosary that had been in the family forever. And so she gave it to me, and I actually wore it when I was ordained in honoring her. But I had it hanging on a hook in my bedroom with some other necklaces, and I hung it there just to sort of remind me of her. And it was on a hook, and it was very secure. And there was a time when she was in the nursing home, and we knew her end was near, but we didn't know when she was going to pass. But that particular day, as I walked by, that rosary flew off the hook and landed at my feet. at almost the exact time she made her transition. And I knew that was her saying goodbye one last time. I love the signs. I love the wonders. They happen if we have ears to hear and eyes to see. Those moments of beauty and awe and wonder, whether it's looking into a baby's eyes or a puppy's eyes or something as grand as the Grand Canyon, and knowing we are that, I am that. We are one. It's all within. Now the dreams, I've had many dreams that have spoken to me. I've been doing some cleansing work one time, cleansing issues, you know how fun that is. And I had a dream one night that there was a flash flood, and all this dirty, muddy water rushed by, cleared everything, and I knew when I woke up, I had cleared my consciousness of what I was trying to let go of. Wonderful. When we moved to Cookville, you know how it is when you move, you unpack things and you forget where everything is and you don't know where anything is for a while. And the only thing that really bothered me for months, I wasn't able to find my favorite pair of earrings. Now they had absolutely no monetary value, but I had bought them when I was with my son at one time, so they had sentimental value. And I kept praying about it, asking the angels to show me where they were. You can do that, you know. And I had a dream one night, and in the dream the voice said to me, "They're with your rosaries." And I had my rosaries tucked away. "They're with your rosaries." And I went up the next morning and looked, there it was. My earrings were with my rosary. It's amazing how God speaks to us in voices, in signs. I had a friend that was a sign maker, and someone had commissioned him to make a special sign, and it was so unusual he didn't know quite what he was going to do to make it, and so he decided every day for a week he would pray before he went to bed at night. Every day he prayed for an answer on how to make this unusual sign. And on the seventh day, the idea came to him. And it was a perfect idea, and he said the way he knew it was God's idea, not his own, was that it came to him as a whole idea. Not first you do this, the whole idea was there at once. And it wasn't through his human reasoning, it just came to him, and all the means for its fulfillment were there, in the flow, with no resistance. That's when you know it's God's voice and not your own. And sometimes, not very often, but sometimes, I'll actually hear an audible voice. There's an old gospel song, maybe some of you remember it. "Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name." Have you ever heard somebody call your name out loud? And you don't know where that came from. You look, who called my name? Your name is your nature. And when you hear your name being called, it's reinforcing and strengthening your true nature, your true self. Hush, hush, somebody's calling my name. I had a great challenge, a burden I was going through one time. It felt like a real burden. And again, I prayed before I went to bed that night, and I heard an audible voice say to me, "Say to this mountain, be removed, and it will be removed." And I did. And shortly thereafter, friends came and literally carried me through it. It was amazing, effortlessly, with grace and with ease. Angels show up as other people. They show up in many forms. Just when you least expect it, just when you need, someone is there, out of the blue. I bet everybody in here has a story of someone that has shown up for you just when you needed it. And of course, when we have questions and hear answers, we have to discern, is that really a sign, or am I just seeing what I want to see? Anybody ever done that? Am I really making this up, seeing what I want to see? You have to discern, is this me? What did that, Ella Fitzgerald, wasn't her that did the advertisement, is this me or is this Memorex, you know? Is this me making this happen, or is this it? People that use pendulums have to be very careful that you're not influencing which way that pendulum is swinging. And then we have to clean off our windshield if we want to have eyes to see. Release negative thinking. Oops, altogether now, oops. And release any preconceived ideas as to how it's supposed to turn out. Release any attachment to outcome. Altogether now, oops, oops. And forgive. Unforgiveness can cloud what we're seeing, can cloud what we're hearing. We have to forgive altogether now, oops, oops. Clear those blocks to love's presence. Rumi, the great poet Rumi, once said there's a voice that doesn't use words. Listen, listen. And acknowledge those signs with gratitude. If we acknowledge them, they increase and we see them all over the place. It's kind of like in The Color. Remember the movie The Color Purple? Where they say God appreciates it when we notice. Notice, appreciate. Love those signs and wonders all around you. And they will increase. Let's take this into prayer, okay? Through prayer we just rest in the knowing. We are one with all life, with the one presence, one power, expressing in and through each one, in and through all life, in and through the trees, the animals, the sky, the music, the water. And we just hold our desires in our heart and ask and watch and look and listen and allow the unfolding with grace and with ease. In the nature of Christ, and so it is, so it truly is. Amen.